In this video we're just going to look at how to set up the graphical calculator to enable us to answer normal distribution questions. The summary of this is already in your notes, but I'm going to go through it on the video, actually on the graphical calculator. So as you will be used to by now, we're going to be in stat mode. Now on my version I've got no data stored in list 1 or list 2. It's fine if you have some data from a previous question. It won't actually interfere with our calculations for the normal at all. So if you have data here, don't worry about it. It's not going to cause a problem. We need to go into distributions and normal. And we have 3 options. This third one we're going to come on to later on. It's actually for working backwards, in the same way as divide is the opposite of times. When working out probabilities, we can work backwards. Having been given a probability, we can work out a z value that gave us that probability. But to actually work out probabilities, we're going to need this one here, NCD. The first one you'll never use. NPD is not useful to us at all, so completely ignore that one. So under NCD, you'll go in, and the first thing you will probably see if your calculator is freshly set up is that it says data and list. Now we don't want to use any list data, so we need to change the setting here to say variable, and then you should see lower and upper appear. Now the first thing is we're working only with our standard normal on the calculator, so that has a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. So those two can go in now and should just stay fixed. The other thing that should stay fixed is your lower limit. For us to get all of the marks in the exam, we need to always be working from a value less than and all the way down to negative infinity. So my lower limit really should be negative infinity. I can't put that into the calculator, so I'm going to put in a very, very negative number. So negative 99999 should do fine. My upper limit, now that's what I'm going to change. That is the z value along the horizontal axis that we are often given in questions, that we need to work out a value or the probability that we are less than that value. At the moment it's set to 0. With it set to 0, that means it's actually set to the mean value, which, because the distribution is symmetrical, should actually mean that our probability is 0.5. If you scroll down to the bottom, you have 2 options. This one's by far the more interesting one because it actually draws you a graph. So if we click draw, you will see at 0 I have exactly half the distribution filled in, which is therefore 0.5. I think in the notes I actually do an example where it's 0.8. Well, all you need to do for that is change your upper value to be 0.8. Scroll down again. Now you can click calc, but it just gives you all the values as numbers. It's far more interesting to see this already on a graph. So the answer here is 0.7881. Now all of these settings will stay the same unless you reset your calculator. If you do, you obviously need to go back through it and set it up again properly. But when you come into using it, this is the only value to change. Everything else you should keep fixed as lower limit and negative, really, really big negative, a standard deviation of 1 and a mu or mean of 0.